The fruit of dead trees. The storm is finally passing. All that's left is a few more moments of deafening rain until I can finally seek some respite from this horrible day. The young Duchess was far too young to have ended her life so soon. Before I can make it to the threshold of the study, the lord of the chateau returns from the samovar with a cup of tea in hand. He presents it to me with a smile. I return the smile and accept the cup. The bouquet of the tea is both full-bodied and bright, of citrus fruit and married with lavender. I tilt the cup aggressively and consume it. Before I can account for my barbaric nature, the lord interjects, "Mon doigt, before you leave, I will have to teach you how to make this." The hot tea numbs my mouth, and I gracefully smile and bow thankfully. He extends his hands to receive the cup and returns to the samovar. "Monsieur, I know the last day has been troubling, to say at least, but I wonder if you'd indulge me in a short walk around the garden." I finally catch my breath, and I flex my vocal muscles and reply, "Oui, yes, a reprieve would be most welcome, but isn't it still showering outside, Lord?" The Lord makes his way to investigate the weather condition. I'm blinded by the curtains, but I can still hear the thunderous lightning attacking the lands near the chateau. After the briefest of moments, he unlocks the door and proceeds to fully open it. I attempt a stealthy yawn. What herbs did he put in it? The storm has no fire left in it, yet some raindrops might descend on us if we do not take them into consideration. He places a full cup of tea back into my hand and an extended elbow, waiting for me to thread my arm through his and join him under his umbrella. I take a quick sip of my tea and I step into the hypnotic garden. The rolling mist from the Rhine River clamps and hangs to the shrubbery and trees, forming an illusionary visage of souls pantomiming in the garden. We walk through the garden admiring the wide range of exotic fruit and flowers that decorate it. I linger at an orchid for a moment, transfixed on its crimson petals and yellow horizontal stripes shining through the mist. I'm frightened on how similar they are from the Duchess's lips. I break my concentration of the orchid and make my way forward. When we finally reach the edge of the garden, I finally take a breath and feel a tug of my shirt. I turn around and there's the Lord's maddening expression on his face. I stare into a pair of bioluminescent eyes. Now, let's have a conversation between an architect and a doctor. He begins asking me inquisitive questions about his profession. What are microorganisms? How do they grow? Can they be killed? And how can they be killed? Finally, after an unmeasurable amount of time, we reach the heart of the conversation. Last week, we had an infestation of worms. For some odd reason, it only affected the males. We dug up the infected trees to make sure the worms didn't spread to the rest of the orchard. My question for you is, if someone is past the point of producing fruit, should it be the responsibility of the physician to dig out the bad tree to prevent further spread? Well, if there's no other option, I should separate the infected from the healthy. If the body is not producing fruit, then I'm sorry if this conversation is uncomfortable. I was just curious. No, not at all. It's just a different perspective. Oui, but there's a silver lining. With the infected trees, I can take the infected and burn them, and then mix the ashes with the soil. Unfortunately, I cannot say the same thing about medicine. I tell the Lord, once a life is lost, there's nothing I can do besides burn their bodies. If I could grant you some wisdom, never make anything useless. Much of this world is sad and chaotic, but it doesn't mean that we can't use it to create something beautiful. At this point, I merely reflect on the advice the Lord has given me. I continue to walk beside him. We make a sharp turn by the large shed. From only 50 meters away, I can see a pyre of indistinct trees, but at the very top of the pyre, I can see a vivid periwinkle bonnet. "Monsieur, the Duchess, she's on the top of the pyre!" The Lord quizzically looks at me and then looks at the pyre. "No, doctor, it's merely her clothes. I told the staff to burn anything that could have been infected." We morosely turn away from the pyre and we make our way back to the chateau. I briefly steal a glance of the flames from the reflection of the window, but what eludes me is the smell of sweet burnt roast perfuming the garden. I swear it was her.